Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's Arena time. Yes, finally back to the Hearthstone Arena. I've been doing a little bit of Darkest Dungeons recording, and I've been working a lot on other stuff, including my job. But, yeah, I was trying to get 2 sets of videos going at once, and see how long I can keep it up. So, I haven't had Druid or Shaman in quite a while. I'm going to take Shaman because they're pretty awesome in the arena. That was quite a delay on that animation. Alright, what do we have? We start off with Doomhammer, and 2 guys who are not Doomhammer. We got another weapon, or... Yeah, I'm going to take the Dark Iron Dwarf, because he's a pretty badass on his own, and then as a Shaman, I'm likely to have free 0/2s. Not free mana, but free cards. Wow. They don't have any mechs yet. I mean, this guy is a death machine if you have a decent number of cheap mechs in your deck. I don't know how that's going to go. I do know that having at least 1 Bloodlust is going to hold me in good stead. It's a good way to win the game. You know what else is a good way to win the game? Feral Spirits. Crazy double wolf taunt is awesome. So is Windspeaker. So is the Zap-O-Matic, which is already like a huge Wind Fury thing for 2. I mean, it's very fragile. It's usually going to just die, but anytime it doesn't just die, it will kill things. Fire Elemental will kill things. Earthshock, when you get to half silence, is awesome, but I can get another Dark Iron Dwarf. I'm not going to turn that down. Reincarnate. Okay, now we got to think. Well, these 2 guys are kind of weak, so we're probably taking the Reincarnate, but yeah, it's not a powerhouse on any of the guys I have yet, but still, you can use this to silence, well, not silence, but you can use this to debuff enemy minions. There's a Blessing of Kings on that reinforcements. Reincarnate him, he comes back as a 1/1. So, destroy a minion and return to life at full health. We'll take this, and then we'll take Death Rattle stuff a little bit more seriously. So I could take the Lava Burst, which is really strong. But I think I'm going to take the Bomb Lobber. I haven't got to play with these guys enough, but I like the new mage spell, the Flame Cannon. 2 mana, deal 4 damage to a random enemy. You can exert enough control over that to make it not as random. There's also big enough damage for cheap, the mage spell. Big enough damage for cheap that it's usually going to work out in your favor most of the time. You should be able to do something about that. Now, I'm not a mage, so I can't shoot the 1/1 and then blow up the 4/4 with that. But the Bomb Lobber is also, he's a 3/3 that you get for 5 with that built in. So, he just ends up, you get a decent sized minion. I mean, he's small for the cost, but decent sized minion and blowing things up. You compare him to the stupid 5 mana 4/2 that does 2 damage to something, this guy's way better, even if the other guy is targeted. We're going to try him out. I don't have very much cheap stuff in this deck yet. Now, it is a Shaman deck. It's got totems, right? But it's hard to really get ahead in the early game if all you've got is totems. I think I'm going to have to take... I mean, the Rocketeer would be nice for finishing people, but I have a lot of powerful late game things already. Things that usually they require me to have something in play, but they will smash my opponent late game potentially. I think the Puddle Stomper for the mana curve is actually more appropriate choice there. So, Brewmaster, I could get back a Dark Iron Dwarf, so I could like heal him and then reuse him. That's pretty good. Or the Windspeaker, Bomb Lobber. I have a lot of big battle prize stuff already. I think I'm going to take the Brewmaster. The Farseer would also have been quite good. Berserker, his Death Rattle is not useful. His Death Rattle is not worth reincarnating, but he's still pretty annoying. I think we're going to take him. I can also Dark Iron him. So now I'm getting all these 2-cost things for the mana curve, but I think I want the Hex. I don't have that hard removal yet. I don't think I need that many Bloodlusts. I think 1 Bloodlust in the deck is good. I'm very glad to have one. I don't think I need to pile them on, especially since I'm looking like I'm going to try and have more mid-range sort of guys. So the Harvest Goal is very good, and I don't have much 3-cost stuff. But the Frostwolf Warlord is pretty damn awesome, especially when you're a Shaman. So he's normally, you're going to get a 5/5. Normally you have at least one thing out. as a shaman, for 7 mana, you can guarantee that he's a 5/5, and he might actually be bigger than that, because of course you can pay to make a totem, and then play him. I don't know, I'm going to take him anyway. It's pretty good. He likes the Haunted Creeper. Dust Devil is fragile. It's not going to help out that much. I don't have that many mechs for the Cogmaster. He's just, he's looking for his Gatekeeper, but he's not going to find her. I'm going to take the Force Tank, why not? It's overpriced to me, but it's still there. Cult Master as a Shaman. I think I've got to take that, even over the Force Lightning. Oh my god! This row... I know I've had pretty good stuff already, but like, where was one of you in the Puddle Stomper row? Any one of these cards is so much better than Puddle Stomper. Just for example, I would have taken any of you over the Haunted Creeper. I would have taken any of you over the Brewmaster. God damn. Like, these are the cards. As much as I love Ogre Brutes, and he would fit my curve too, I think I need to take the Crackle, because it's flexible. I mean, you can kill your opponent with this. You can also blow up minions in a very useful fashion. I don't think, even the Ogre Brute, I don't think he can top that, since I don't have too much of that stuff in this deck yet. It makes me sad, passing up those guys. I would have taken any one of them over these cards, although the Stormforged Axe is pretty awesome, so we'll take it. Legendary. Well, let's see. He's pretty dumb legendary in the arena because I don't have his partner. And he's not what he used to be. I mean, his power hits a random minion. Other than himself, but yeah. It's not that he's horrible, but it's like, he's really random. You get, like, the circumstances where he's useful are much more limited than they used to be. And Sylvanas is a pretty clear cut out of these guys, so, yeah. There wasn't really a lot of thinking there. It was just sort of thinking about thinking. Tidehunter's pretty good. I don't have too many things that benefit from having a large army, but I've got a couple. Again, I could take the Harvest Golem. He's got a Death Rattle for my Reincarnate, but honestly, that's one card. Like, Harvest Golem is really good at fighting. I'm wondering if I should take the Farseer, but actually, no. I'm going to take the Harvest Golem. He's good. I don't have a lot of taunt, do I? I have the Wolves, one copy. And of course my taunt totem, but that's really random or requires a lot of stuff. I think the Arcane Nullifier is going to fit in okay. Wow. So, yeah, this is... I mean, Fork Lightning would be nice, but we have to take the Fire Elemental because he's a Fire Elemental. The Brewmaster, I do have a lot of good Battlecry stuff, but I'm thinking that... I don't know. I actually have a reasonably large amount of removal, many of which are also guys, like minions that kill things. 2 Fire Elementals, the Bomb Lobber. Those guys are awesome. Dark Iron, sort of-ish. So these guys are all really awesome for that. I'm wondering if I should take the Earth Shock anyway. You know, I have all those battle cries. They're all usually more expensive battle cries. It's not like cheap minions I have that I can play him and then bounce them and that. On the other hand, they're not cheap because they're a little bit larger, so other than the Bomb Lobber, I might be getting back a decent amount of hit points if I get one of them damaged and then bounce him. I'm just thinking Silence is so good and gets even better with Noxramas, but then with the expansion, there are more things that you really want to silence all the time. I'm thinking I should probably take the Earth Shock, even though he would be pretty good. Yeah. Got a lot of expensive stuff. Deathlord is pretty interesting, but I don't think he's needed for this deck. No secrets. Crazed Alchemist is pretty awesome, though, so we'll take that. No problem. We're nearing the end here. I could take the Lost Tall Strider. I did say it right. I'm always wanting to mix up the various 4-letter words in his name, but I'm thinking the Wind Fury is pretty awesome for just dealing damage to a player directly. I don't have stuff to buffer, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm thinking the Goblin Stalker. I mean, I actually have a decent number of 2-cost things now. It's definitely beefed up. Goblin Stalker is still pretty good at taking control of that early game, but you know what? I'm a shaman. I can make totems. It's just in the early game, if you're making totems and your opponent's playing guys, the guys are going to win. But the Tall Strider might help me more. No, let's take the Goblin. I feel like I'd rather have him. The Bloodlust is a little bit tempting. I do have a fair number of 2s, but the Bluegill can just come out and kill someone, so we definitely want that. And then Holy Fire Elementals Batman. Well, that's interesting. So I have no area damage. I have a lot. By the end here, if you count the Fire Elementals, who are very expensive, I do have a lot of single target killing stuff now for an arena deck. A pretty decent amount, anyhow. Having the mind control tech for the AoE might be good. Well, not AoE, but you know what I mean. Like, your opponent has lots of guys. What are you going to do? Maybe mind control? That's pretty good. The Vitality Totem only costs 2. 3 toughness. It heals you for 4 right away, as long as you were down at least 4. And then they've got to waste their time killing it. As Briarstone says, a makeshift taunt. I don't always agree with it when he says that, but in this particular case, it kind of is. That's what it's doing. It is forcing your opponent to hit this, or you're going to keep healing every turn. Of course, if you can protect it behind a taunt, then it's super annoying. It might be hard to get rid of for your opponent in the arena. On the other hand, the Demolisher just fights things. I don't have any stuff that cares about mechs, so that is actually not an issue in this deck. Never did take that Tinkertown Technician. But it still can help lock down your opponent, and I don't have that much stuff that costs 3. Let's take the Vitality Totem. It's interesting. I'm sure that was probably the worst choice out of the row, but this deck might have some potential, because it sure as heck has Fire Elementals. So, let's see how that works out. Yeah, I don't usually get 3 Fire Elementals. I should be very happy about that. 3 Fire Elementals, 1 Bloodlust. Those are all good things. I have no Flametongue totems. I'm used to having no Lightning Storms in the arena. It is rare, even though opponents often seem to have 2. But no, it's not really a surprise to not get any of them. I have lots of good Shaman stuff, but no Flametongue totems does kind of hurt. Speaking of hurting, this is an expensive hand. We have expensive, bad starting hand material. So let's see if that axe comes out. I don't have a lot of death rattle stuff. I don't really have good uses for the Reincarnate, except maybe the Force Tank. I mean, you can just healing a 6/5 or a 4/4 is worthwhile to play. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not really worth having the card. I think I'm going to coin out the Puddle Stomper. I've got that coin. I don't have any mid-range cards, so I might as well get this out and try and get myself a little bit of momentum or board control or cancel out whatever my opponent's going to do. Okay. See, that's fine, because I can play the Stormforged Axe, kill it, get ahead a little bit, and then this will eat one of my mana next turn, but I'll still have 2 mana for a totem or for the Haunted Creeper. So that works out great. Now, I mean, we technically are even on the damage there. We're even on the damage, but I have a minion and 2 more hits worth of Stormforged. So that is good so far. Going to Kung Fu me, I guess, which means I'm going to get to hit him for more. That is fine. And I make a totem or no? I think I'm going to put out the creeper. It'd be nice to be milking that totem. I do have the Cult Master. I'm not going to be able to attack with those, so it's not really likely to work out well. I'm better off getting this guy out, I think. As much as I'd like to be getting those free cards. I'm going to spend one of the attack charges on this, because I don't like having having extra charges on a weapon sitting around, because I find you get screwed all the time. I'm going to obviously save 1 for killing something. Ooh. Well, that's annoying. So I could play him and just keep on offense. I could play the Cult Master afterwards. I mean, I could play him, attack that guy, draw a card, but if I'm not going to be able to kill him this turn, so it's kind of silly. So I think the Arcane Nullifier is in order. Maybe just sit back on this. I mean, I could soften him up and assume that he will die against this, but what does that really gain me compared to hitting him later? If he gets a buff to both attack and defense, then I will wish I had hit him when he was weaker, but okay, super pair. The Bluegill Warrior. I can't play the Bluegill and the Cult Master, but I can play the Cult Master and start doing stuff. The bear could be a problem. If I shock it, then it's down to 5 health, but also it no longer has taunt. So I could hit that guy, kill him with the axe. Meanwhile, I break this and still have a Cult Master out, and I draw a card from it. I think that's how I'm going to roll. I don't know if this is great play, but put him out, get at least one card out of him. I'll probably get hit by an area spell and die, but meanwhile I am going to... Oh yeah, that's right, I have to Earth Shock him. That was part of my plan all along. So I could hit him and then finish him with that, but actually I could hit him and... Like, this guy will barely survive, and he'll just get Kung Fu'd, but even if he gets Kung Fu'd, I draw a card, right? And getting rid of the bears is way more worthwhile, so I'll take 4 damage for that, sure. So yeah, a Starfall would be extremely unfortunate right now. Not unrecoverable, but it would suck, because things that are not Starfall are much less likely to cause me to not win, just based on the current board situation. I mean, a lot can change. But right now the board situation for me is very good. Starfall would make it very not good. At best, neutral. I don't think you'd be thinking about it so much if it was a Starfall. Starfall would be a pretty easy call. Because it would kill all of them and I would draw no cards. If he's just trying to think of what minion to play, then I'm already getting ahead, if that's the conversation. So he should Kung Fu this, and then kill this guy. He's still going to have enough mana to do it, so... Yeah, I'm going to get 1 card, and oh, this guy's actually going to survive that, so... That's too bad, but the Cult Master did fine. He drew me 2 cards, so he netted a gain. And my opponent had to waste a bunch of stuff getting rid of him. So, one of these can kill that. Wow, this is going to work out pretty easily. Bam. Kill. Spider. This is a perfectly fine board position. I'm okay with this. And I've got I'm 1 card ahead of my opponent, right? Because whoever's turn it is always has 1 more card. That guy's big, but I can deal with that. I can hex him and kill him with a 1/1. That's even better. Boing. Totem. That's a taunt totem. Nice. I'm going to put this guy out just on offense. It is kind of silly not to save him for killing something, but I do have Doomhammer. I'm very close to just being able to destroy this guy. I did spend my Hex, so he might be able to drop a giant taunt tree. But I've got the Bloodlust. If he doesn't kill many of these guys, they're all going to go Super Saiyan, and it's going to be over. And it's over. Yeah, I don't need to play anything else first, really. So that went exactly the way I would like it to. But again, my opponent was sitting there, and he had okay minions, but since I was keeping his army down, all he could do was like play a big minion who can't do anything on his own, play another big minion, and die. And that worked out fine. So this deck shows promise, but usually when I like a deck this much, it goes badly. And the times when I don't like my deck seem to have a slightly better chance of doing well, so we're just gonna have to buckle in and see what happens next time.
Show some love to the like button.
And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and other gaming videos.